Okay, Shalom, Shalom, Kwam Yasha'Allah, Kuhaloimla, Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim Rakakwadash, double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who rule well, and that by the Spirit taught us this beautiful truth. Just want to say the water to all the H.I.M and Akwaf that's out here sincerely keeping the laws, the statutes, and commandments of Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai to the best of their ability. This is Yah-Hanan Awaf, just coming at you with another quick lesson, praying that it's edifying by the Spirit. And I had put in Google celebrities who are half Asian and half white, right? And the reason why I done that, I was watching, I think it's Scripps News on the TV, and they had this little chick on there. She looked like I thought she was Chinese, you know what I'm saying? But it's not a look thing, because someone can look Chinese and they're actually not actually Chinese, because so-called white men, they do get with what they would call an Asian woman or a Chinese woman or a Japanese woman, and those children, they can come out looking just like that woman and not even have the features of the so-called white man. And it's the same thing with so-called blacks. A so-called black man, he can get with a so-called white woman, and say like someone like Patrick Mahomes, the child can come out, looking pretty much like a blonde hair, blue-eyed little white boy or girl, if you've noticed his children. And since seed line goes through your dad, if his son were to grow up and get with another so-called white woman, that color would be diminished. That would be a so-called white family, in the American eyes. But we know that seed line goes through your dad. So when I pull this up, some of these people I've heard of, some of them I haven't. But this is Vanessa Hodgins. I've heard of her before. It says her mother is Filipino and her father was Irish, Native American. So she would be basically, now I'm not sure as far as, because either way, Irish or Native American, we know that the so-called Native American is, those are Israelites. And we know that a lot of Israelites, ruled in Ireland and places like that. So she's more than likely a Jake. She would be from possibly the tribe of Gad or something like that. But like I said, again, it's not a color thing, because you can see she kind of, she got some melanin. She kind of, got the same kind of melanin that her mother got. Even her mother might be an Israelite. Okay, and you have Olivia Munn. She's of Vietnamese, Chinese descent, and her father was American descent, but it's not saying what kind of American, so I'm not sure on that, if it was a so-called white man or not. But let's move on to the next one. You got this guy, Rob Schneider. He's a comedian. His mother is Filipino, and his father is Caucasian. He pretty much got a Caucasian look, though. You know what I'm saying? Or, an Edomite look. Because there's no such thing as Caucasian people. And you have this guy, Mark Paul Gosselaar. It says that he's Dutch Indonesian. His mother is Dutch Indonesian heritage, while his father is of German and Dutch Jewish descent. So this would be more than likely a damn Edomite, so-called white man. Here you go. You got this chick, Chloe Bennett. Her mother is Caucasian, while her father is Chinese. So check this chick out. This chick right here, she would be considered a Moabite. She would be a so-called Chinese woman. But guess what? She looks more like a so-called white woman. See, so this is why we tell you, when you're out on the highways and byways, and we doing, these lessons and stuff like that, we have to stress the fact that this is not a color-based thing. You have different, nationalities in the scriptures, and they have biblical names. And most of these, the names are pretty much overall a lot of the enemies, or the main enemies, which all these heathen nations are the enemies of the Lord. They're listed in Psalms chapter 83. But she would be a so-called Chinese woman. But now, if she were to go to China, they wouldn't accept her. But if her father really is Chinese, she'll be a Moabite. Never heard of this guy, Ivan Georgia. And it's not saying what his parents were. Alright. Darren Chris. It's not telling who his parents are neither. Noah Jones. Noah Jones' mother is Caucasian and her father is Indian. I'm assuming that they're talking about, because it's not saying American Indian, I'm assuming they're talking about an Elamite. So this lady would be an Elamite, according to the scriptures, if that's the case. Jennifer Tilly's mother had Finnish and Irish ancestry, which she could be an Israelite, and her father was of Chinese descent. So this lady right here, she's a Moabite. She would be a so-called Chinese woman today, right? Because there's no such thing as mixed. Don't let nobody trick you into that mixed shit. There's no such thing as mixed. You are exactly what your dad is, and I'm gonna get that in a minute. I just want to roll through a few of these. Phoebe Cates' mother was Chinese, Filipino, and Jewish heritage, while her father is Jewish by way of Russian ancestry. So this is a straight Edomite. She would be a so-called white woman, if that's the case. Shannon Elizabeth, mother is Caucasian, while her father is Lebanese descent, which she would be basically an Ishmaelite, probably more likely. Okay, you got Maggie Q, and I always like this lady. She, they kind of show her in these movies. She's so goddamn little that if that lady weigh 100 pounds, I'd be surprised. But they have her in these movies like she's just this gangster chick. You know what I'm saying? The kung fu chick, master of guns, shit like that. But it says Maggie Q's mother is of Vietnamese immigrant, while her father is of Polish and Irish descent. So she's probably an Israelite, because a lot of so-called blacks ruled those areas. And you could tell when Jake got swag, man. And she do got a lot of little swag, little sexy little lady. Anyway, Janelle Parrish was born in Hawaii to a father of European descent, and mother was Han Chinese heritage. So she's an Edomite. She's a so-called white woman. Christine Crook, if I'm pronouncing the name right. Her mother is Chinese, and her father is Dutch. So it's up in the air there. She could be an Israelite. Elodie Young, her mother is French and her father is Cambodian. So yeah, she will be more than likely along the descent of, because a lot of those, I don't know, it could be an Israelite, but those Cambodians and a lot of those South Koreans, North Koreans, Chinese, Japanese, a lot of them, they are somewhat related. Well, we know Ammon and Moab are brothers, so to speak. Now Brandon Lee, his father was Bruce Lee, was Chinese, and we believe that Bruce Lee was an Israelite, because you can look like a Chinese person and be a so-called black person. It says while his mother was Caucasian with English and Swedish heritage. Lindsay Price's mother was born in Korea, while her father has Irish and German heritage. So she might be a so-called black woman, or of one of the tribes, because like I said, our people were deep over there. And you got Marie Digby. She has a Japanese mother and a Caucasian father, with Irish heritage. So I'm not sure, because like I said, Israelites, we ran all over through Ireland and all those different lands. But if her dad is a straight Caucasian, so to speak, she would be a so-called white woman. Shay Michelle. Her mother is Filipino, her father is Scottish. She's more likely an Israelite too, because again, we ran Scotland, all them places, man. Christina Chong was born to an English mother and a Chinese father, so she's a Moabite, if that's the case. Ryan Potter's mother is Jewish American, and his father is Japanese, so this is an Ammonite. Sophie Wu, born of a Scottish mother, Chinese father, so she's a Moabite. But see, these women, these people, see, she can just blend right in. If she were to blonde her hair, dye her hair blonde, or auburn, or whatever the case, she can blend right in with so-called white people like it's nothing. Meg Tilly is the younger sister of Jennifer Tilly, and she has a Finnish, Irish mother and Chinese father. See, so this right here, she looks like a straight so-called white woman. And again, she can dye her hair a certain color. I didn't mean to go blonde or brunette or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? And shit, she's out here blending right in with the so-called white race, man. So again, you know what I'm saying? That's pretty much about it, I think. But you can't get all off into the color thing. You get into the color thing, you're gonna be messing things up, man. You don't want to add to or take away from the Holy Scriptures, because it's not a skin color thing. This is an Israelite, or it's a biblical thing, and we all have biblical nationalities. So yeah, this Meg Tilly lady, yeah, she got a Chinese father. This will be a Moabite. If she were to go to China, they wouldn't accept her. Charles Melton has Korean mother and European American father. So this right here, even though he has that look, he would be an Edomite. He would be a so-called white man. You have Kimoko Glenn. She has a Japanese mother, and her father has German, Irish, and Scottish heritage. She's probably an Israelite, so-called black woman or something. Devon Aki, if I'm pronouncing her name right. I ain't seen her in nothing in a while. She has an English mother and a Japanese father, so she's an Ammonite. She would be an Ammonite if that's the case. Ross Butler, Malaysian Chinese mother, and his father is Dutch English heritage. Up in the air. Moon Bloodgood. Her mother is Korean and her father is American. Yeah. And not saying what kind of American. Karen O. Korean mother and Polish father. Up in the air. Sandrine Hope. Her mother is French and her father was born in Hong Kong. Okay, just because he was born there, a land doesn't make up who you are neither. So this thing doesn't go by color or land mass. That those are not nationalities. Nancy Kwan. She is the daughter of a European mother and Cantonese father. Okay, up in the air. Johnny Young Bosch. His mother is from South Korea and his father is an American soldier. Yeah, more than likely an Edomite. Who knows? So, Louis Tan, mother is British, father is Chinese. So this is a Moabite, but you get the picture. David's a Sikora, Japanese father, so he would be an Ammonite. Haji, half Filipino, half white. So they're pretty much, they go with this half and half shit. That's not what it is. Yeah, so this guy would be a so-called white man too. Ricky Kim, Korean descent, while his father is Irish. He could be a Jake. Just like I said again, a lot of our people was, in these places. But anyway, just a quick little lesson. Let's just grab the scripture on it and go off into how it really goes. Because Esau, the so-called white man, he gave those, those terms, biracial, mixed, multiracial, things like that, because biracial really wasn't popular until the 1970s. That's when they really kind of super duper coined the term. Other than that, because other countries, they know that your seed goes to your father. That's why a lot of those other races, they don't really get into race mixing like that. Only here in the Americas is it kind of really more popular. You know what I'm saying? And in a lot of other countries, it's not really accepted too much like that. Though it happens though, because a lot of these countries are drinking of that Babylonian American juice, that Babylonian wine. All these countries are overall trying to be like America. So they see these rap videos and these chicks, they disobey their parents and they just ready to just go be with whoever's popular. Shit. Now, it's not like how it used to be. It used to be a lot of arranged marriages, but now it's just kind of like, yeah, I'm not in love with him. I'm going for love. Numbers chapter 1. Let's start from the top. We can start from the top. Verse 1. The Lord spake unto Moses in the wilderness of Sinai, in the tabernacle of the congregation, on the first day of the second month, in the second year after they were come out of the land of Egypt, saying, so this was when they came out of Egypt, out of that slavery. Verse 2. Take ye the sum of all the congregation of the children of Israel after their families, by the house of their fathers, with the numbers of their names, every male by their poll. And that's how lineage goes. It goes by your father. It doesn't go by your mother. Your mother has absolutely nothing to do with lineage or ethnicity. She plays the role of being ground or soil or earth for a seed. So when the seed is planted within her, she just gives it that nourishment that it needs. And once that seed comes forth, it's exactly what the dad is. Why? Because the seed is within the dad to begin with. Swimming in his, not to sound graphic, but his ball sack. It is what he is. But like I said, in the Americas, the so-called white man, he's all about confusion anyway, because the Lord is not the author of confusion. Esau, the physical counterpart of Satan on this planet, is he moves in that aspect. The Lord created it just like how it was. There was no confusion until this man got into play and got to telling people that you're 3/3 this, you're 4/4 of this, and you're 1/3 of that, and you 13% this, and you 10% that. Nah, man, that goes by what your dad is. You can look like anybody. But as time has gone on with a lot of the mixing that have gone on, amongst these men that have slept with the women of these other nations, because you have people out here that look like so-called black people that's actually so-called white people. They're Edomites because their dad is an Edomite. You see them all the time. You got like the Maury twins, Tia, and her sister, and you got people like Tracy Ellis Ross. Like those are so-called white women. Those are Edomites, but they look like us. Like Jussie Smollett and them Smollett girls and boys. Lenny Kravitz. You know what I'm saying? They take on that texture of hair, from the mother, and kind of get some of that tan, that look. But some are really dark. But it goes through the father. So Esau, the so-called white man, what he has done, he slipped in and he has sown his seed amongst all the other nations to try and get away from not having no color himself, right? Because all Edomites don't look like Donald Trump. Edomites can look like so-called black people, Chinese people, Japanese people. We always bring it from a standpoint of so-called blacks. Because if we were to get with, as men, so-called black man, he gets with a so-called South Korean woman, or North Korean woman, or Japanese woman, or Chinese woman, or white woman, those children are still going to be Israelites. They're going to be exactly what he is, even though they may turn out looking like them, if you get what I'm saying. Okay, but it says, let me get that back again, verse 2. Take ye the sum of all the congregation of the children of Israel, after their families, by the house of their fathers, with the number of their names, every male by their poll. See, it says by the house of their fathers, not the house of their mothers. It says every male by their polls, not every female by their polls. It has nothing to do with the women like that. And then as you can see, starting at verse 6, it goes on to name the tribe leaders, which are men, Reuben, Simeon, Judah, Issachar, Zebulun, so on and so forth, Benjamin, but verse 18 is the point. And they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month. And they declared their pedigrees after their families. Now, your pedigree is your ancestry by the house of their fathers. See that? According to the number of the names from 20 years old and upward by their polls. So your lineage goes through your father, your pedigree, your ancestry, your tribe, your family tree. It goes through your father. And that's the reason why when you go to Matthew chapter 1, and this is how we know that the Lord was born through a man. His father was Joseph, because he has a genealogy. These are all his great. You want to go all the way back, grandfathers, right? It's naming off all of them, going all the way down to verse 16 or so. Yep, verse 17. It says, so all the generations from Abraham to David are 14 generations, and from David unto carrying away unto Babylon are 14 generations, and from carrying away into Babylon unto Yahushua are 14 generations. So you have, that's a great set of numbers of generations. That's a lot of generations, man. 14, and 14. Whoo! But it all led up to who? Yahushua, which the world ignorantly calls Jesus. That's how we know that his father is Joseph. Why would you go all the way through? Why would he need a lineage this long? And then all of a sudden they talk about he was born through a Virgin Mary. No, he had a father. The scripture says that he would come through the seed and loins of these men. So you can't get around that. But now also, let's go into the parable of the wheat and the tares, because wheat and tares, they look just alike until they get to a certain point of harvest. Let me see. Matthew chapter 13. In verse 24, let's start there. Matthew 13 and 24. Another parable put he forth unto them, saying, The kingdom of heaven is likened unto a man which sowed good seed in his field. And while men slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat, and went his way. But when the blade was sprung up, and brought forth fruit, then appeared the tares also. So now let's stop right there. Let's go off into, let's put in wheat and tares in case you don't know what wheat and tares look like. Because they look exactly alike. I remember this when I was growing up in the South. Let me see. Wheat and tares. They look exactly alike until you get to the top part of the harvest, when they grow up at their height, and you can see it. You can see that they're different from there. See? Like you have and they got perfect pictures here. They you can tell from the top once they grow all the way up. But as they're growing, at first you can't tell, right? See, like right here, these one side here is wheat. We got one right here too, wheat and tares. See, they look similar. There's one right here. They look similar until they grow fully out, right? There's another one. You got wheat on the left hand side. You got tares on the right hand side right here, right? So that's the parable that the Lord is speaking. Verse 26 again, Matthew 13 and 26. But when the blade was sprung up and brought forth fruit, then appeared the tares also. So now you got two people, that's looking just alike, but they're both, different in spirit, because the Lord gave Edomites a different spirit from the spirit that he gave Israelites. Verse 27. So the servants of the householder came and said unto him, Sir, didst not thou sow good seed in thy field? From whence then hath it tares? Right? He said unto them, An enemy hath done this. The servant said unto him, Wilt thou then that we go and gather them up? But he said, Nay, lest while ye gather up the tares, ye root up also the wheat with them. Right? And when you notice too, when brothers are out on the highways and byways, if they, the spirit got to be really dealing with them. If they have a so-called black father and their mother is white, a lot of the times they'll walk away because they don't want their mother to go into slavery, because the scripture says that they're going into captivity. Edomites are going into captivity. And though she may be married to a so-called black man, that's not going to save her from her captivity. It's just not. You know what I'm saying? But, and that offends a lot of our people. You know what I'm saying? So they kind of just, keep it moving. But we do have, it's Jake, that's into this truth. They mothers are so-called white, and they like, fuck it, man. No, I'm with this truth because the Lord has pulled them into it. They're part of the hopeful elect. Okay, but verse 29, it says, But he said, Nay. Let me read it in the NLT. The New Living Translation says, No, he replied, you'll uproot wheat if you do. Let both grow together until harvest. Then I will tell the harvesters to sort out the weeds, tie them into bundles, and burn them, and to put the wheat in the barn. So see, these tares, they're no good to the Lord. It's the Israelites that's what the Lord is focused on, the elect of Israel. See? So now when you get the matter of fact, he explains this parable. I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna continue reading it in the NLT. Verse 36, Matthew 13 and 36. Then leaving the crowds outside, Yahushua went into the house. His disciples said, Please explain to us the story of the weeds in the field, which are those of tares. Yahushua replied, The Son of Man is the farmer who plants the good seed. And that's Yahushua. The field is the world, and the good seed represents the people of the kingdom. See? The weeds are people who belong to the evil one. See that? So there's a separation and difference in the people, man. That's why, when these Christians get to talking about how everybody can be saved, that's just not true. The Lord is not dealing with everybody. He's not even dealing with all of Israel. He's only dealing with the elect of Israel. Verse 39, the enemy who planted the weeds among the wheat is the devil. See? The harvest is the end of the world, and the harvesters are the angels. So what Esau has done is, one of the very first things that Esau done when he left his, our forefathers and mother, Isaac and because our foreparents didn't want us marrying, into those Canaanite nations. I think his very first wife, if I'm not mistaken, or I could be, don't quote me on it right off, but he married some Canaanites, and I think he married one Ishmaelite, and those were women of color because he had lost his color. You know what I'm saying? He came back as Cain, if you have ears to hear. He turned, he came out red all over like an hairy garment. That's the description that the Lord, gave him. That was that curse, man, that was on him. But by him blending in with these darker women, it kind of gave him, some of their people color. But they of course they wasn't able to totally escape that real red that they are. You know what I'm saying? Because Esau is red as hell. A lot of them, looking like damn brake lights on an ambulance. But anyway, I just wanted to just kind of touch on this real quick because I seen that on TV and I'm like, dag, she she has some talent. You know what I'm saying? But when I sing, I'm like, well, damn, all them, I seen all those damn medals and trophies and generally that's some Edomite type shit, you know what I'm saying? Because, I'm not to say it's, because I'm thinking like, I was looking for a so-called Chinese man to pop out of the blue and, but when I seen the damn old ass Edomite, I'm like, damn, that's her dad, So, it just made me, it sparked me to do this, this lesson because, this is, milk stuff that, a lot of our people don't know of, but, when you first come into this truth, you have to get rid of the color thing because there's a lot of people out here that look like so-called white people that are actually Israelites. They look like so-called Chinese people, so on and so forth, but they're Israelites, and vice versa. You know what I'm saying? It's Edomites, it's Elamites, Elamites that look like so-called black people. It's Moabites, it's Ammonites, so-called Japanese people that look like black people. Because it depends on the dad. If a so-called Japanese man has sex with a so-called black woman, those children, might come out have those little chinky eyes and shit, but they, could be dark skinned. But guess what? They're Ammonites, and they're going into slavery too. But anyway, I just wanted to touch on that real quick, man. I pray that the lesson was edifying. With that, Kwam Yashala and a Baba Ball.